Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome to my live podcast. I'm Bob Pace, and here we are to fight CPS and stop taking our children. It's a warm welcome. I know that most of you are struggling with CPS. I too have been. I've been fighting them for 14 years, almost 15 years now. And it's been a long road. And it's been so disappointment. I want to welcome to my room. We have somebody named Michelle Damon. Happy New Year to you, Michelle. And whereabouts are you from? Let me put up, when you guys are going to send text messages, there's a format I want you to use. I'll put it up there. Please follow that format if you could. There. Now we have Betty. Welcome, Betty. Very good evening to you, Betty, and I'm glad to see you again. Betty's been on my podcast almost all the time now, and she's become part of the family. I'm not sure about Melinda. I don't know if this is your first time on or not, but if you guys are just joining me, you found the right place. You found Fight CPS with Bob Pace, and tonight my room is dedicated to fighting CPS and stop taking our children. And they'll have a bad habit of doing that. So, with that being said, I will try to help you. Don't do the same mistakes as I did when I was involved in CPS. It was a really horrible experience, and I don't want you to go through the same thing. So if I can share with you or help you with issues that would help you with your case, it'll make me feel so much better. Now, Betsy has said something here. Let me put it up there. Let's see what Betsy has talked about. Betsy's, I'm going to ask the caseworker for a delivery service log and see if she follows everything by the law. Well, you can ask her. I doubt very seriously she will. Most CPS workers are corrupt, and I think yours is too. If I'm not mistaken, Betty, are you in Northern California in Shasta County? Is that where your case is? I'm trying to remember, and I sometimes draw a blank there. Now, Akima Richardson, hey, someone wanted very much to talk to you. Hi there. And I was trying to ask you while you're on the show how they could get in touch with you. Let me see if I have the person's name on my phone. I saved it, and they wanted to get a hold of you, Akima. Akima is from Brooklyn, New York, and the person that was trying to get a hold of you, I think, was, let me see here. Yeah, it was Ishay Israel from Clearwater, Florida. She wanted to get a hold of you, and I didn't know how she could. Her name is Ishay Israel from Clearwater, Florida. And she had a horrible case, and she thought maybe your experiences could help her, Akima. But I'm so glad that you're on. But I was trying to have you hook up with her. Now, for some of you just joined me, you're in a room that deals with probably the worst nightmare you ever had in your life. It's the child protection system. That's what I call. It's an agency that is not transparent, that's very corrupt, and that will traffic your children into foster care and alienate your children from the family. I'm sorry to tell you that. Now, I'm on twice a day. I come on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the morning, and then again at 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. So that's twice a day, 14 shows a week. Now, on Saturday and Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock in the morning. Saturday and Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock. That's the only difference. So for all you out there, I'll let you know if there's other times that are different. But Saturday and Sunday, it's 8 o'clock. And you have come to the right place. I am a loving husband and a father. I have over 42 years of marriage experience. I know all about life skills, and I've raised 6 children. And I'd like to help you all fight this terrible organization called the Child Protection System. It's a government entity, a part of social services, that's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. But I don't think they do a very good job. At least in my case, and over the 800 some people that I've talked to in the past year. Now, this is a worldwide podcast, by the way, because I do talk to other countries. From Bangladesh to India to the Middle East, there's several countries there. Africa, there's 6 countries. In Europe, there's 8 countries. And then I go to North America across the pond. There are 3 countries. Then South America, I got 1 country. And then I got Australia, New Zealand in the Pacific. So those are the countries that have texted in, and some have even called. I've heard from Mexico City and from South Africa, the province, the Western Cape province, from a lady named Leica. And it's become a regular basis. And she has talked several times on here at her dime. It's pretty expensive to call from South Africa. It's country code 27. So I had there. So Kima, if you could tell me a way that I could get Ishay to get a hold of you, it'd be great. Now, I have Queen Bee on. Hello, good evening, Queen Bee. I assume your name, you have a name, and you have a city or a county you're from, and a state, and what your case is about. Akima says you have to put it in a motion for the delivered service logs and make sure you ask for all the social worker notes as well. I guess you're referring to Betty's comment. That's what you're referring to, Akima. Her nickname is KK. You have to put the motion for the delivery service logs and make sure you ask for the social workers' notes as well. And Betty says, no, I'm in Montana, and the case is in Nebraska. It's my brother's daughter. I'm sorry, Betty, there's a Betsy that I get confused with Betty. You're right. You are in Montana. I know your brother has a daughter that it's your niece, and you're trying to straighten it out, and the case is in Nebraska. And I apologize. If you guys can help me, tell me where you're at. It would really help because there's so many of you. Now, Queen Bee, I still don't know your name or where you're from. So if I put a motion, I can get all the caseworker notes from their investigation. That's what KK Richardson is saying. That's what she's saying. And then Tessa French. Hi, Tessa. You're from California. I know that. And you're from Shasta County. Welcome back, Tessa. And I'm so glad that you joined me. Now, Kima says they should be allowed to get off all the notes from the beginning of the case up until the present day. And as well as a motion for the social services notes that mysteriously do not go into the case does not go into the case summary notes. Yeah, her notes don't go in this case summary notes. You're right, Akima Richardson. You're so right about that. That message is for Queen, KK Richardson says. Thank you, KK Richardson. Queen says, okay, wow, my lawyer is a court appointed and seems to be sadly buddies with CPS. Yeah, Queen, you're new, and most of the people in our room know that court-appointed attorneys and public defenders work for CPS. They're paid by CPS. They're not in dependency law. They know nothing about juvenile and family law along with dependency law. They know about criminal law, but they won't fight for your case because they have 30 or more clients. What that means is that because CPS uses them, they won't fight for your case. You really should not take something for free. A good attorney does cost you money. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's what it is. And they're just as hard as open heart surgery to fight CPS. They're very corrupt. They're not transparent. And they certainly are not going to try to help you or help you refine your family. It's really sad because not only is this government entity that's supposed to be that Congress mandate to protect our children, they're supposed to help you in need, such as shelter, clothing, food, transportation, your medical, your educational, and also a job. Furthermore, if they need to break up the family because of extreme violence, danger, they need to do what's called family reunification. That means put the family together where the parent takes parenting classes and program classes like anger management or drug rehab or alcohol rehab programs. And that's what they need to do. And so you're going to find out that the public defenders or court-appointed attorneys are a waste of time. I'm really sorry to tell you that, Queen, but they really are. So you're really up against the wall. Now, I can share with you, I have 5 rules. I'm going to real quickly go through them. Rule 1 is you need to get a family juvenile dependency attorney. Rule 2 is you need to collect all your documents and put them in a notebook, a 3-ring notebook, and with the subject dividers and notebook paper, and then create a time log incident page. It's where you track all the incidents. And then rule number 3 is you do not talk to social workers. Do not talk to the police. Do not answer the door. Do not turn your kids over to them. Do not meet at their office. Don't let them in your home. And medical trafficking, be careful when you take your kids to the hospital, emergency care, or urgent care, because their case workers work there and they'll try to take your children. Also, if you're having a baby, they'll try to take your children. Don't let them. And rule number 4 is that you need to research on the internet. You need to prepare the right phrasing of your question. It's usually the city, the state, the letter CPS, and then whatever topic you want to know about CPS. You need to spend a good 60 hours there. And rule 5 is you need to gather all your documents and put it in an envelope or a folder. And these are documents like birth certificates, driver's license, marriage certificates, grade reports of your children, shot records, medical records, all these documents. Make copies and put them in there so you have it ready available, because you'll need that information. So those are my 5 easy rules. I did not spend time elaborating on them, but I'm pretty sure if you write those down, they will help you. If I did those, I would never have lost one of my 3 children that were trafficking into foster care. I did lose one child, and it was a shame how I lost that one child. You see, there's a social worker that was lying on the stand. She was asked what kind of parents that were trying to adopt my daughter. These parents were my wife's sister and husband. And the question was, what kind of parents are they? And have they ever been involved in domestic violence? And the social worker very proudly said, no, they're great parents. No, they've not been involved in domestic violence. Well, then my attorney, who happened to be Vincent Davis, brought out all these reports and read them one by one of extreme physical domestic violence between the two. And that's not a place to bring up a child. And the social worker was so embarrassed that she left, of course. And then she told us parents, I'm going to get even with you. You're never going to see your daughter again. And so what she did is she instructed our daughter how to divorce her parents, her brothers, her sisters, her cousins, her aunts and uncles, and her grandparents. All the family there was divorced by her. She changed her beautiful name completely. She sealed a birth certificate. She got a new birth certificate. She got a new social security card. She was using 2 social security cards, embezzling funds illegally from the social security organization. And then she got adopted by foster care. And she's 22 now and has nothing to do with her parents. It's sad. It's really sad. So I'm telling you, CPS is awful in there. I don't know how else to tell you, but it's awful. Now let me catch up with you guys. Akima was the next message, and she said, whether a court-appointed attorney or retained attorney, you yourself can just put the motion pro se. That means if you don't want to be an attorney or want to use an attorney, you could do it pro se. Now, pro se means you represent yourself. You got rid of your attorney. And so that's what Akima says. Now, Queen Bee says, I can't say where I'm from because of the situation. That's okay. That's okay, Queen Bee. You don't have to tell me. I don't want you to feel any more comfortable than you are. That's fine. You can say what state you're from. That's fine. I'm in Tennessee, and I can't say that much. It's okay, Queen Bee. You need to protect your family and yourself. I'm glad you're in here. Now, Akima says, so Betty, did you put in for emergency ICPC? That's where the children are transferred from state to state with this private organization. The ICPC is an organization that handles children going from one state to the other state. Now, here's a new one. Cindy Griever. Hey, so I just want to ask one more time. There's nothing I could do if they have adopted, right? Well, I don't know if you've been on before. Did I miss your message? Let me go back. No, I didn't miss your message. I need some more information. Have your kids been adopted? if they've been adopted, there's really not much more you can do until they're 18, and then they can come back and find their real parents. Queen Bee further says, I tried to file a motion to return once the case was closed, and they dismiss my charges. They can't dismiss it. And again, if it was properly put into the court, I don't know what the motion was or what it said, but a proper motion cannot be dismissed. Now, I don't know if you're using an attorney to put in the motion. I'll call the lady a public pretender. Yeah. Yeah, they're a public pretender, all right. Akima Richardson says, who's from Brooklyn, New York, Queen Bee, you cannot file that motion to appeal the decision without an attorney. That is patriarchal suicide at best. Yes, you see, Kima's right. Anytime you try to go, I need to take these off. I don't know why I have my headsets on, but you have to use the attorney. If you have a case, this is the thing you got to be careful about. If you accept a public defender or a court-appointed lawyer, then you have to go through him, and they have to make the motions. They have to do things. The only way that you can be in court, you have to be pro se. That means you don't have an attorney representing you. And sometimes it's better to be pro se than use a public defender or a court-appointed attorney, because you're going to end up going nowhere. And so that's what Akima is saying there. Now, Sydney, I have no idea where you're from. I wish I'd known these things before it was too late. It's okay, Sydney. I wish I knew my 5 rules before too late. I lost a daughter. That's the hardest thing in my heart. She's 22 years old. I was hoping she'd come back and see us when she was turned 18. But somehow her mind is made up. In fact, my family's been all disrupted. I have a family of 6 children and a husband and wife. It's a family of 8. During the attack by CPS against me and my family, they destroyed it. I had to quick sell my home because I needed to hire Mr. Davis, because I needed an attorney to get my kids back. Secondly, my credit's been ruined by CPS, and they've made my life miserable these last 15 years I've been fighting them. I lost my job through no fault of my own in 2010 when I was age 60 after working 45 years. In 2015, that's when they took 3 of my 6 children. My other 3 children are grown up and raising families of their own, so they weren't impacted. But somehow they've heard rumors and stories. Things get twisted around. So I've had a falling out with my 3 older children. And my 2 younger children are still with me. But my daughter, who's my 4th child, is not with us. So at Thanksgiving, it was a family of 4. And Christmas is a family of 4. But at Thanksgiving, my 2 boys did not have Thanksgiving with me on Thanksgiving. They went to be with their sister. And then on Christmas, one of my boys decided to go back to be with the people that caused all the problem. And I don't know why. They paid for his airfare. They're trying to con him. But it is terrible out there. CPS is very, 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 very corrupt. Now, I'm trying to catch up. You guys are coming in pretty quick. We have Queen Bee that says, there isn't a lawyer here in Tennessee willing to fight them. I'm going to have to go to federal to get them. Well, Mr. Davis will come to Tennessee. He'll fight. He has a case in Oklahoma. He is a pit bull of attorney. He's won lawsuits, both in civil lawsuits, both in federal and state courts. And he's won millions of dollars. He would fight them in Tennessee. But he needs to be paid, and he's expensive, and I know that. But maybe there's a way you can take a credit line or mortgage your home or something like that to get the funds to have Mr. Davis come to Tennessee to fight your case. Because, Queen Bee, they've cost me everything. I know what it is, Queen Bee. Right now, I have a little frugal job. The social workers ruined me in working in my career field. I barely make $280 a week, and I live in one of the most expensive places in the country, Orange County of California. And it's very, very expensive. Its eggs are going $10 a carton. Gasoline has dropped, but it's like at $4 a gallon. Even coffee is $10 for a can of small coffee. When you go to eat out at McDonald's, it's $15 for a fry, a burger, and a drink. Things are just really skyrocket expensive. And $280 a week is not going to cover your rent, your utilities, and your food and stuff. So it's really tough. It's tough. I don't know how else to tell you that. Sydney, they did the opposite of that for me. Okay. They did the opposite for me. What do you mean by the opposite, Sydney? I need you to elaborate more. Akima says, so the first thing you can do on your own, just to get the ball rolling, motion for emergency ICPC for your niece. So Betty, if you want to get your niece, it's going through emergency ICPC. I think that's what Akima is talking about. Thank you, Akima. Now, Sydney asks a question. Her question is, hey, so I just want to ask one more time. There's nothing I can do if they have adopted, right? Once a child's adopted, you're pretty much stuck. Your parental rights have been terminated. Now, you have 15 days from your rights are terminated to appeal the adoption. But if you wait longer than 15 days, your time may have run out. What you can hope is that maybe your child will get a hold of you when they turn 18. Because when a person turns 18, they're an adult and they can leave CPS. They can leave foster care. There's nothing holding them back. They're legally 18. Queen Bee says, I tried to find a motion to return once the case was closed and they dismissed my charges. Well, you need to have an attorney do that. Akima says, yeah, we've already said that. I wish I had known these things before. I agree. There is a lawyer here in Tennessee. I already told you that they've cost me everything. They did the opposite for me. The first thing you need is an IPC for your niece, Betty. They have approximately 30 days or less when an IPC is filed to clear that resource and transfer the child to the family member, which is the issue. 30 days, they got to transfer it. And now Akima says, for all the parents listening, moms or dads, get a copy or file from the beginning until trial, whatever module you get in those documents. You need to have all those documents. They come from the clerk's office. Now, if you're low income, you can get it for free. Now, Queen Bee says, I was jailed in August for 5 days with zero bond. No bond was allowed until I saw the judge. And then when I saw him, he gave me a bond of $15,000 instead of the typical $3,000 bond for child abuse neglect. Wow, that was heavy. And endangerment. Now, Akima says, honestly, Bob, there are no bad parents, just unhealthy, unsafe ones, if you want to be honest. I agree. Anybody in this room is a good parent. Anybody who's trying to get their child back is a good parent. The problem is we got a very corrupt system that all they want to do is make money off us. It's $1 trillion business. President Clinton signed into law in 1997 a new CPS law that deals with incentives. What they do is they encourage the child protection system to put the kids into foster care and be adopted. They do not. They discourage refamily unification because it takes too long. So that's hurt, and that's made more money. They get like $5,000 bonus if they can be adopted on top of the $20,000 a month they get for supposedly taking care of the child. Now, Queen Bee says, when I was told I was being arrested for abandonment for dropping off my son at school, I don't know why you'd be arrested if you dropped your son at school. Does he need to go to school? Or were you dropping him off and never coming back for him? Akima says, Queen B, if you were arrested criminally, that plays a serious part in your family court case and unification services. Yeah, I agree with you, Kima. When you're arrested and you have a criminal matter, it's a double whammy. The child protection system will not really address your case until your criminal matter is taken care of, whether you're incarcerated or whether you're found guilty. They're going to wait. They're going to wait till the criminal matter is. Now, Queen Bee says the charges were dismissed and I allowed to expunge those. Well, I'm glad to hear that news. That's good news, Queen Bee. I have all my documents that I have been able to round up. Okay, there may be other documents. You got to have them all together. My documents are approximately a yard tall, 3 feet tall, if you set them on the floor. Queen Bee, when you have two concurrent cases, Akima says, in different courts, such as family and criminal, until your youngest child is 21 years of age, that criminal charges stays on your record. Don't let them lie. It will stay on your record. And you have to get it expunged. I think after 7 years, a lot of your cases can be expunged. Akima further says, unfortunately, Tennessee is below the Mason-Dixon line, and they use that black letter law down there. Tell me, Akima, what the black letter law is. I've never heard of that, Akima. Can you elaborate that for me, please? Akima says wrong. There's something you can do, Sydney. Queen B says, I tried to get the clerk's office to file a motion to return once the case was closed and the charges were dismissed. Okay. That's wrong, Bob, especially for her state, because you can appeal the termination of rights in any state. Well, what I meant by that, if that child's have been adopted, then their rights, their parental rights have been terminated, and they have so many days to appeal that. Usually it's 15 days. And that's true about any state there, Akima. Queen Bee says, my charges were dismissed or nil, whatever that means, and they allow me to fill out a paper to expunge. Good to hear about that. Now, Kima says, but Bob, if she's not satisfied with her representation, she can put in for a Marston hearing and change her counsel. I agree. I'm confused because the person I was talking about was somebody that had their kids adopted, and I think that was Sydney. It wasn't Queen Bee. So we have people talking pretty fast here, and I'm trying to keep track of it. And Queen Bee says, I think in my case, I could do better. Betty says, Akima Richardson, I do have an ICPC. Good. Well, they have 30 days to get your kids transferred, Betty. And Betty's from Nebraska trying to have her niece be transferred from Nebraska. She's from Montana. She's trying to have her niece from from Nebraska to Montana. Now, Akima says Betty isn't emergency IPC or just an IPC makes a big difference. What kind of IPC do you have, Betty? Is it emergency IPC or just a normal one? Kima says, please join me on my Streamline and Facebook. Yeah, you'll find Akima Richardson on Facebook, and she has a podcast called The Attorney Davis's Platform, which is good. Good evening and welcome. And who am I talking to?
This is Debbie Joe from Montana.
Okay, this is Debbie Joe.
Betty Joe.
Oh, Betty Joe. Okay, hi Betty. Yeah. We've been talking. Hi. Akima's been talking to you, right? You're Betty from Montana.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. I'm almost there. Akima says every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, their time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, she has her show with my co-host Desiree Payne and View. Are you a CPS victim like me? That's the name of their show. So Akima has a podcast too. Now Queen Bee says, I don't have money to buy him. I know how hard it is. I lost my job that put me at registered for child abusers for 10. I can't get any state or assistance. I've been sleeping in my car. I know it's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that, Queen. Figueroa, I haven't heard from you in a while. Welcome back. What charges do you have? She's asking Queen Bee. I have never been in jail in my life. I'm 40 years old. I have 4 children, 2 adult daughters, and 2 teenage boys. Queen Bee further says, football practice with his little brother. The 2 adult children have custody of my 3 boys. Hello, JD. JD's from LA, California. Welcome, JD. Let me stop here for a moment since you're on the phone, Betty Joe, and let you go ahead and talk about your case to the people that are listening.
Well, my brother and his girlfriend ended up going to Nebraska, and they got in trouble with THC products from Montana. The child ended up going into emergency foster care system. I've been fighting since day one, since they got arrested. The caseworker has never gave me paperwork to ask me if I would take guardianship or even to take care of her while the parents are in jail. The caseworker did contact the mother's family and asked them if they would take the child. They gave paperwork to them, offering the child to them. The grandparents lived in Nebraska. Her aunts and uncles live in Nebraska. I live in Montana. I had guardianship prior of the child leaving Montana. CPS is so corrupt that they won't even talk to me. I call and ask to talk to a social worker. She goes, she doesn't have time for me. I have an ICPC out there that has been approved in both states. I've had a home study. I've had everything that I need to have done so my niece can be here with me. She's choosing to have the child still stay in the foster care system in Nebraska. And now January 15th coming around, she's up for an adoption. My brother lost his rights. Baby's mom has lost her rights. I don't know where I can turn, but I can tell you CPS will rip your children from you. Hold them close, hold them tight.
Wow. Is this a IPC? Is this emergency one or a regular one?
It's an emergency.
Emergency.
It's done within 30 days.
So it has to be
30 days
done
was
in
done
30
on
days, right?
And I visited my niece while I was in Nebraska down there in May, and they had a court hearing in May. I went to that court hearing. I got up on the stand. I was called up on the stand by the county attorney, and he asked me a bunch of questions, and I didn't understand some of the questions, so I asked him to rephrase it. He wouldn't even rephrase it. He looked at me like I was being stupid. Well, I don't know what questions. I understand what you were trying to ask me. I don't know the whole case. I know some of the case, but I don't know the whole case. It's not my forte to know what's going on in the case, but I know what's going on is CPS will work for your children from you. They will take your kids. They will make money off your kids. They will put them in foster homes where they're getting molested. They're being abused. My niece is being abused right now. She has a medical history of having ear infections when she was a baby. They still don't want to place ear tubes in her ears. She's almost 2 years old and she's not talking. She's not walking. She's just barely starting to crawl.
Question for you, Betty. Akima wants to know, what module are you in now?
What module am I in?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Well, I don't know, but she's talking about, I think, she says, of course, because they have to make sure that funding stays with the state until the exchange is made, all about a check on. Okay. I guess the module is what step you're in with the ICPC?
I have everything completed. Everything is done. The home study, the background check, my water testing, everything. I have everything completed.
Okay. Akima, she says she has everything completed. I don't think she's in any modular. I don't know what your question is. I'm trying to understand it myself, Akima.
I did ask Kima if she did have Facebook so I could follow her on Facebook, and I haven't received no response from her, so I was going to just go over and follow her, and when she comes on live, and I was going to kind of pop in to see how things are over there. And
What, Akima hasn't responded to you on Facebook?
no, I was trying to find her on Facebook, but I didn't know what she went by.
Oh, Akima, you may want to tell everybody what you go by so people can find you on Facebook.
But I can tell you, CPS will rip your kids from you, and they will make money off your kids. They will hurt your kids in the long run. Even though this is not my kid, she is like my kid. I raised her for 45 days of her life prior of them moving to Nebraska, and she was only 3 months old at the time when they left Montana to go to Nebraska. That was half of her life.
Wow.
More than half of her life. I had her every other weekend or every weekend during the week. I had her weeks up on end.
Now, Akima says if she was not an RFA cleared, what does RFA mean? Then the children should be transferred within 72 hours for her state, something she did not do. Now, I don't know what she means by that. I don't know if she's directing it towards you. Akima says KK, okay, she's KK Richardson on Facebook. Akima is KK Richardson on Facebook.
Is it a K or a C?
It's spelled Kay Richardson.
Okay, got it.
You got it?
Got it.
Okay, we got a new person now. This person is Alicia Salam. I missed a few meetings for the chats. No internet service. It's okay. Where are you from, Alicia? Where are you from? I was told I have a 15-minute with someone in the post needed that information again. The 15-minute meeting is if you call in and you talk on my show on the phone or you're a guest on my show. Then you're entitled to a 15-minute meeting with my attorney, Vincent W. Davis. It's a private Zoom call with him, and he'll go over your case. And that's how you do it. You have to be either a guest on my podcast or call in on the phone. And I can set you up how you're supposed to do that. Alicia, I think you're the first time I ever heard from you was tonight. And I have no idea where you're from. Macon, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, are you living in Jacksonville and the case was in Macon, Georgia? Or are you living in Jacksonville and the case was, I don't know where it is. So, oh, you did call in. Okay, I've had so many names, so I'm saying that. So you did talk to Mr. Davis? How was the session with Mr. Davis? So I know some of you have talked to Mr. Davis. I think Betty has talked to Mr. Davis. Have you not?
I did.
How
I
did?
got some good outside sites from Mr. Davis.
Can you share what happened when you talked to Mr. Davis? Can you share with the listeners?
Mr. Davis told me the best thing for me to do is to contact the social worker's supervisor because she would not talk to me. I talked to the supervisor, and the supervisor advised me that the child should have been placed with me in the beginning, and this caseworker is new on this case, so she's not sure of how to run things. So he also asked me to get a copy of the deliverance service log, and that is by law. They have to get that out because that's how they get funded by the government, is to see if the caseworker is doing the right things in the case. If they're not doing the right thing in the case and following by the law, then we can put a lawsuit against that CPS worker.
Yes. So it was a good experience. So all you people that are listening, Mr. Davis will talk to you. All you have to do is to be a guest on my podcast. To be a guest on my podcast, all you do is contact my show producer. Her name is Grace at VincentWDavis.com. Grace at VincentWDavis.com. And she'll put you on the show as a guest. Or you can call into my phone number. You can call in my number is 626-698-0990 and talk to, like right now, the talking. Yes. Alicia Salam was last month when she talked to Mr. Davis. Okay, great. Akima, Macon, Georgia is run by the city, and Jacksonville is run by the county. Two different things. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know a county can run a city. That's interesting, Akima. Assam says, yes, correct cases in Mecca go I live Jacksonville. Okay, go live in Jacksonville. Sometimes these expressions are so confusing. Yes, correct case, Macon, Georgia. I go live in Jacksonville. Okay. No, I didn't get a chain. Assam says I didn't get a chain. Maybe she said I didn't get a chance. Okay, you didn't get a chance. Okay. Never spoken to him yet. Well, if you talk to my podcasts and you've been either talking as a guest or on my phone, then you need to text me your full name, your phone number, and your email, and I'll get you on if you've not spoken to him yet. I'll have to go back through my notes with my show producer to see when you requested to talk to Mr. Davis.
and you'll have 15 minutes with him on the phone for free, and he's amazing. He'll give you a lot of good insight that you need to take notes on. It's not something that you just want to sit and listen to. You want to make notes. You want to do what he's going to tell you to do.
You got to be prepared to take a lot of good notes because he's very valuable. He's a very articulate talker, and he will help you because he knows it quite well. He knows it quite well. Now, Asham says, thank you so much for you being on here. Well, thank you for the kind words, Alicia, because I do try to help. And Kima says, when you get a new caseworker and they say they're not sure they'll get back to you, then that's them dragging their asses to run out of the clock time. You don't want them to drag it on. If they drag it on, they're trying to delay it and run out of time. So you got to be on them every day. You be nice to them, but you got to be on them. You got to be on them. Now, Assam says, I never spoke to him. I missed the meeting. Okay, well, yeah, I got that figured. When you have a CPS case, depending on the jurisdiction, if it's in a state-run, county-run, or city-run, makes a big difference. You have to fast or close the most. And Assam says, thank you. And then we have Freeman. Yes, I know Freeman. Hey, I'll be a guest again. I have to talk to Vince and Davis. I got a chance with Vince, and it's me, Jesse. I remember Jesse from Oregon. Okay, Jesse. Glad to see you back, Jesse. Akima says, when you live so close to the Pentagon, you're the last person to actually get any justice acknowledgement straight up. Okay. Freeman says, I'm ready with questions for Vince. 15 minutes would be tremendous helpful. Well, Freeman, you got to either talk on the show, a guest on my phone, or be a guest on the show. There's two ways you get the 15 minutes with him. I received SSI every month, but I can't afford for room and cab, if that'd be okay. All right. You can't afford a lawyer. I understand. I had to take out and sell my home, or you may have to get a credit line or borrow from family and relatives. It's hard, but you need a juvenile family dependency lawyer. And Freeman says, never get a call from Vince today. I thought I was waiting for his call. Well, Grace, who is Grace at vincentwdavis.com, will schedule that, and she'll tell you when you're scheduled your confrontation. And again, all of you that have been on my show, either calling in at 626-698-0990 or being a guest on my show by contacting my producer, Grace at vincentwdavis.com, can talk to Mr. Davis for 15 minutes. So I've put all the names except for the people today. So if you think I missed you, please text me at 626-698-0990. Okay? Now, Assam says, how do I hire without a lot of money or thing? Okay, when you want to hire an attorney, there are two things. You have to ask two questions. Question one, are you a juvenile family dependency lawyer who's fought CPS and gotten the children back? If the answer is yes, the second question is, have you ever when the case is closed, your CPS case is closed, have you ever sued either in federal court or state court and won money from CPS? If the answer is yes, then that's the attorney you want to deal with. You want to get 3 quotes to see which one will be the best one suited for you as far as chemistry go. Don't be by the price, go by the chemistry, how well you get along with that attorney. And then you can work out some type of financial arrangements. You can only work out some type of financial arrangements. That's my rule number 1, by the way, is to get an attorney. Akima Richardson says, search for pro bono lawyers. You may have to step outside your state, but lawyers can get permission to practice anywhere. That's true. Vincent can practice anywhere. He has a case in Oklahoma. Pro bonos are hard to come by, but they're out there. There are attorneys that will fight your case, and if and they won't charge. But you got to be careful because there's a lot of corrupt attorneys out there that take advantage of people's emotions. I'm sad to say, people have paid thousands of dollars to criminal attorneys which know nothing about dependency law. So you got to be careful that you're in dependency law and that they have knowledge of juveniles and family within dependency law. That's the area that's your expertise. Now, Kima says, check the status for the lawyer and their specialty and how many pros and cons they may have to their specificity. I just asked those 2 simple questions, and then I would get 2 more attorneys, and then I would say, how much is your retainer? And then I'd check on the chemistry of them. How I found Mr. Davis was that way. I asked him, he was one of the 3 attorneys I found that did fight CPS in civil matters and that would take it. That's how I got him. But I had to dish out a lot of money, and the whole way I could do it is I quick sell my home. I wanted my kids back that bad. Now, Akima says they also have parent advocacy supports, lines, and legal referral services that take pro bono cases for family juvenile dependency law. Good idea, Akima. Thank you for sharing that. And then Assam says, is Mr. Vincent, does he do it cases like that and win? He does. He has won more cases you can imagine. People are scared of Vincent Davis. CPS does not like Mr. Davis. They don't like it. He wins a lot of cases. Absolutely. Kima says, Leisha, Mr. Davis is the best and he has 39 years of winning cases. That's how long he's been doing it. He was a foster care himself, so he knows about CPS. He knows about CPS. He has a retainer. You need to talk to him. If you want to hire him right now, on my screen is a number, 888-888-6582, and you can hire him right now by calling in to say that Bob Pace sent you, and then when you talk to Mr. Davis, say that Bob Pace sent you, and you can retain him. Freeman says, so the schedule with Grace by texting, so I understand I'm still in there for 15 minutes. That just not been scheduled yet, and that contact, thanks. Yeah. Grace will tell you when you're scheduled. Grace will tell you when you're scheduled. What I do is that when someone's on the show, either as a guest talking or on the phone talking, I ask them, do they want to talk to Mr. Davis for 15 minutes? If they say yes, I tell them what to do. They text me to my number, their full name, their email, and their telephone number. And then I send it off to Grace, who in turn contacts them and sets them up for a private Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis for 15 minutes. Now I have somebody, Leica from South Africa. Hello there. It's not morning, it's evening, but it's morning where you're at in South Africa. I know that. It's morning time, early morning time, Leica. Glad to hear from you. Leica is my friend from South Africa, one of 5 ladies that calls in. And I'm glad that you're here. I haven't seen you in a couple days. I hope your Christmas is a good one. Then there is a psalm. Great, awesome. Okay, good. And then she says, I'm going to figure out how I can hire him as soon as possible. Good, Assam. That's what you need to do. I sold my home quick sale and got the money to hire him. I'm going to call tomorrow on the Greyhound bus. Okay. Anyway, the number is 888-888-6582 for the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. It's very important when you call them, you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And then when you talk to Mr. Davis, you say that Bob Pace sent you. And you can talk to him there. Also, if you call into my show or a guest of my show, you'll get a free 15 minutes to talk with them. Also, down at the below of my screen, if you want 30 minutes with Mr. Davis, you can call. You can register online for 30 minutes, and it's only $60. Use your credit card, and you can talk to him for 30 minutes. Now, it's 8 o'clock, or it's a little after 8 o'clock. I got to end my podcast. I'm so sorry, Leica. I haven't seen you in a long time. And Betty, thank you for calling in. Thank you, Betty, for calling in. And Betty says, Hashem, where are you from? She's from Tennessee, I believe. She can't say much, but she's from Tennessee. Freeman says, thanks. I'll text Grace. I hope I get a chance to talk to Vincent Davis soon. Leica says, yes, it was a bit off. Difficult to talk about these things, but it might have come. See here. But it must come out, and CPS must be stopped. I agree. Hi, Lachey Israel. KK Richards is on tonight. You can find her on Facebook as Kay Richardson. And that's how you get a hold of Kima Richardson, is Shay Israel. That's how you get a hold of them. It's Kay Richardson on Facebook. Ishay, contact her. I'm glad to see you, Ishay Israel. Alicia, thank you too. God bless you. Good night. I do have to sign off. I'm so sorry. And Betty, it was so nice for you to talk on the phone here. That was so sweet of you. And Leica, I'm glad to see you again. And I'm going to miss you guys. But I'll be on again tomorrow at bright and early at 10 o'clock Pacific. 8 o'clock is Sunday. I'll be on at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. That's 8 o'clock in the morning. 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And I believe it's going to be probably after lunch in Africa. So anyway, I got to go now. Thank you all, and God bless you all. And thank you. If I haven't said it, I want to thank Betty. I want to thank Leica, Ishay. I want to thank Freeman. I want to thank Alicia. And I want to thank Akima Richardson. And I want to thank JD. Who else was on here that I haven't thanked? Akima Richardson, Ishay. We had a lot of talking tonight. I have never seen this much. And thank you, Queen Bee. Thank you. And Figueroa, thank you. It's good to see you again. Thank you. And of course, Betty, I talked to her on the phone, and it was so nice of her to call in. And Cindy Griever, thank you for contacting in here. I'm so glad that you did. And so I'm going to end the show. You're going to hear a brief message from my attorney, Vincent Davis, at the end of my podcast. So God bless you. Good luck. Keep fighting. Do not give up. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's Sunday, 8 a.m.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.